State's most watched news starts now.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to the KOAM Morning News and welcome to our first day of winter. It is 5 a.m. I'm Michael Hayslip. Coming up this half hour, Missouri Southern narrowly loses to Missouri Western. We'll take a look at the weekend's basketball games, and over 1 million people hit the skies ahead of Christmas. For our Something to Talk About, we're asking if you plan on traveling for the holidays. You can answer questions on our KOAM News Now Facebook page and also participate in our Insta poll. Just go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. First, we transition over to the Skywatch Storm Tracker where we are clear. Now, we've got a slew of activity upon us weather-wise. We'll start with this being the first day of winter. The winter solstice happening 59 minutes ago. Took place at 4:02. Central Standard Time, and so it is here, and really not too bad to start from the Freeman Health System sky camera where we sit at 46 degrees. Do have a good southwest breeze coming in at 16 miles per hour, but a whole bunch of mid-30s to mid-40s kind of spread all over the place here. Now, as far as our wind goes, it's not going to be too blustery today, and it is going to feed us some warmer temperatures on this first day of winter. Don't forget, we also have the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter later tonight. Your best shot of that's going to be shortly after sunset. Go ahead and find that moon, look kind of down to the right, and you're going to get a great shot of it. The 7-day forecast should give us very clear skies and really not a whole lot of worries when it comes to checking out that astronomical sight. Our weather trend has us up close to, if not pushing 60 degrees later on today. And as I said, it's going to be a delightful evening to be out and about if you want to check out Saturn and Jupiter. Now, also of note, we got a cold front dropping in just in time for Christmas Eve right there on Thursday and Christmas Day on Saturday. Now, it looks like we should be able to keep the majority of that rain simply as rain for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But at the same point in time, make sure you kind of keep an eye on that travel-wise, since that's what we're talking about this morning. Don't want anybody caught out and about trying to get to a destination on Christmas Eve, whether it be during the day or during the evening. Congress finally broken its stalemate on a coronavirus relief package, and this comes as the Moderna vaccine is now becoming available, the second shot in the fight to stop the virus that's killed more than 317,000 Americans. Deborah Alfarone is in D.C. with details on the shipments and the latest from Capitol Hill.
The first doses of Moderna's coronavirus vaccine shipped out of Olive Branch, Mississippi on Sunday. Bound mostly for the arms of healthcare workers and nursing home residents across the country.
I couldn't think of a better honor to do for my father.
Todd Elby's father died from COVID-19 last month. He's a UPS driver now delivering the vaccine.
This has been my most important load that I've hauled. I feel Dad was in the truck with me today.
Moderna's is the second vaccine to be authorized for emergency use by the FDA after Pfizer's earlier this month.
A glimmer of hope that we're racing toward the end of the pandemic as quickly as possible.
After months of gridlock, lawmakers here on Capitol Hill have come to an agreement on a $900 billion coronavirus relief package. The House and Senate are expected to vote on it today.
It is packed with targeted policies that help struggling Americans.
The legislation doesn't go as far as what Congress passed in March. It includes a $600 stimulus check, $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits, and has $284 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program.
Anyone who thinks this bill is enough does not know what's going on in America.
Members of Congress began receiving their vaccine shots last week. President-elect Joe Biden and his wife, Dr. Jill Biden, will get theirs today. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, Washington.
Yesterday, the CDC recommended that people 75 and older, as well as essential workers like firefighters, teachers, and grocery store workers, all those people be next in line for the coronavirus vaccine. The Parsons Police Department's on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. Police received a call 4:40 Saturday morning that pointed them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue. That's where officers found 18-year-old Andrew Scott suffering from multiple injuries after being hit by an unknown vehicle. Scott was life-flighted to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. Parslins Police Chief Robert Spink says there are possible suspects in this case who are withholding what they know in hopes of financial gain from Scott's injuries. Chief is asking anyone with information regarding this case to come forward. Pittsburgh State University held its annual Wreaths Across America dedication ceremony over the weekend, although the pandemic did alter the way it looked this year. Attendance for the event was condensed down to a small size and masks were required. Typically, PSU sees about 50 to 100 people in attendance for this event. ROTC Captain Eric Leon gave a speech, and representatives of each branch of the military hung wreaths at PSU Veterans Memorial. Dedication is different from Memorial and Veterans Day. Captain Leon says it's more of a teaching moment for the public and younger generations. A teaching moment about the sacrifices of veterans who gave their lives and those who are still serving. On Sunday, volunteers with the Hope City Church in Joplin packaged 40,000 meals for those in need in the Joplin and surrounding communities. It's the fourth year Hope City Church has packed meals for the hungry. Partnering with Meals of Hope and also Watered Gardens for this event, hundreds of volunteers with gloves, masks, hairnets, all to ensure a safe environment. Macaroni meals were created, weighed, and then packed up in boxes. There happened to be so many, volunteers had to separate into groups for 2 different times of day.
We feel it. I mean, everybody has been struggling this year, so just to be able to go, this is something we can do to really invest in our community and to give back. Man, it's an incredible feeling.
Now that they're all boxed up, Watered Gardens will be receiving the packaged meals to distribute. The Kansas community of Weir came together to fill a need after a long-standing free food donation box was removed due to weather damage. The original blessing box was something dear to the people of Weir, especially the Public Library Board. It's because library staff accepted canned goods in lieu of late fees for overdue books, depositing the collected cans in the blessing box. Now, seeing a need, the library board approached industrial arts teacher Jim Rocker at Southeast High School, and his students put together a list of building materials needed to make a blessing box. The community came together, raised money, and got the project off the ground. Now a new blessing box stands at the 200 block of West Main Street in Weir on the south side of the road, and anyone is welcome to use it. The idea is to take what you need and leave what you can. Now that it is about 5:07, let's take a look at our temperatures, actually what it feels like first off. So yeah, we take about 5-6 degrees from our temperature and subtract it, and that's where we get our wind chill. But once again, kicking off winter, that's really not too bad. Here's what we have on Future Track. Clearing out today, close to 60 degrees. We'll kind of see clouds come and go here on Tuesday into Wednesday. Temperature's still comfortable on Tuesday. It'll be Wednesday when those temperatures drop during the afternoon. Indicator of a cold front that's going to drop in just in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Key factor right now is we're watching that rain for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Not looking like a whole lot of it's going to flip over, but at the same point in time, you can tell we do drop down below freezing. That is a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the winter blues.
The pandemic together with the dark winter. It's a bad combination for many people. I'm Naomi Ruckham with ways to cope in the months ahead.
The latest after the CDC issues a grim warning about holiday travel. And the Oklahoma State University Cowboys face off against TCU. We'll have your highlights. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. The Missouri Southern women picked up some steam heading into the holidays as the Lady Lions topped Missouri Western 67-56 on Saturday. Their 4th win in a row, improving to 4-3 on the year. Southern led by Carly Turnbull, game high 16 points, and Lane Skyle chipped in 13. Now Southern trailed 7 at the break, but a strong second half that included 19 of 24 from the free throw line helped the Lions secure the win.
We did a good job of ourselves offensively, attacking them and putting them out, getting them out of position where we can go to the basket and get fouled. And like I said, we made free throws down the stretch, which was huge.
We're just working all the time. We have a really high ceiling as a team, and we're really trying to get there, do the little things.
On the men's side, Lions dropped a close one to 19th-ranked Missouri Western on Saturday. Final score was 88-86. And this came after that dude right there put up a game-high 33 points, 27 of those in the second half for Cam Martin. And then Stan Scott, who you just saw, he had a career-high 20 points. Southern's lost 3 of the last 4 games headed into the break. Now, with the Lions' next game not until January 9th, head coach Jeff Boschee says he needs to get his players locked in, and that starts during the time off.
Our guys got to get in the gym over break, and then we got to have a couple good week and a half of practice. And it's not going to be easy. We got, I think, 4 games on the road once we get back. So this league is relentless, and we're going to keep on pounding away. I still like what we got. I think we got some good pieces, and we just got to figure out some little things that are all correctable.
Oklahoma State looking for its first conference win of the season. Last time out, Cowboys lost by 1 to TCU. So OSU comes in 6-1, 0-1 in Big 12 action early in the first half. We got Texas down 3. Greg Brown gets a feed in the lane. Finish that. Texas down 1 early in the first. Later in the first half, Cade Cunningham. Oh, give me the contact. Give me the bucket. Give me the foul. Cunningham game-high 25 points. Oklahoma State within 1. Greg Brown having a huge game for Texas. My goodness. Andrew Jones tosses the alley-oop. Brown finishes with the slam. He had 24 points, 14 rebounds. Texas beats Oklahoma State 77-74. Arkansas trying to stay perfect, hosting Oral Roberts. First half, Vance Jackson downloaded Justin Smith. Ties it at 12. Later in the first, Arkansas down 6. Devontae Davis kicks it out to Connor Vanover. Boom from the corner. Razorbacks trail 10 at the break, though. Arkansas makes a comeback in the second. Desi Sills to Jalen Tate on the break. Two-handed. Razorbacks down 5. Less than 9 minutes of play. J.D. Note to Justin Smith. And like that, Arkansas has a lead. Late in the second half, Jalen Tate to Moses Moody.
They need to have the same mindset that Arkansas had when they were down.
Another two-hander. Arkansas moves to 7-0. Wins this one 87-76. Tiger Woods and his 11-year-old Charlie hit the green in Orlando wearing the iconic red shirt that Tigers made popular over the years. PGA Tour posting a video of the duo. Let's see if this goes down. Yeah, with the fist pump. That was worth it just to see little Charlie do the fist pump right there. Still to come on the KOAM is another strain.
A new, more contagious strain of the coronavirus in the UK is leading many countries to ban travel to and from there. I'm Deborah Alfarone with what experts say we need to know.
And to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Weather on the 7th for our first day of winter. We had the winter solstice hit the 4 states at 4:02 Central Standard Time this morning. And the nice thing is for the next 2 days, we're going to cruise above normal winter temperatures. From the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin, 46 degrees, can't beat that. Our temperatures really kind of all over the place, though, as we were seeing some mid-30s out in Neodesha and Independence, and then we're putting up 40s right there in Neosho. Carthage also at 46, and Lamar at 42. Going to see a little shift in the wind, mostly from the south-southwest. We avoid any wind advisory or high wind warnings of that scope. High pressure hanging over us. Beautiful skies. Going to be a great night to check out the conjunction of Saturn and Mars. Best shot is really going to be just shortly after sunset. Look down to your south-southeast, find the moon, just drop down to the right, and you're going to get a great shot of it. Like I said, we'll dot the board with some 60s later on today. As far as what Future Track has, Monday and Tuesday, even most of Wednesday looking pretty clean. Now, Wednesday is when we will have a cold front move in upon us. And we'll begin to squeeze rain out there for the afternoon hours as the temperatures drop. Could see some snowflakes. Hopefully our ground is warm enough that it's not able to stick for Christmas Eve into Christmas Day. And I say that for travel concerns, not for aesthetic concerns. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page. Called the most wonderful time of the year, but in the midst of a pandemic, doctors worry this could end up being a truly dangerous time of the year. And as Britt Conway shows us, they're urging you to stay home for the holidays.
We actually do have a light at the end of this very long and dark tunnel.
But getting there without losing more and more people. depends on what we do now.
That means each and every one of you doing your part while we do our part at the federal level.
U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams says you can start by taking a long, hard look at your holiday plans.
The safest way to spend the holiday this year is with the immediate members of your household.
Dr. Anthony Fauci agrees.
Nobody wants to modify, if not essentially shut down, their holiday season, but we are in a very critical time in this country right now.
Even with 2 COVID-19 vaccines authorized, the virus continues to ravage the country. Both doctors say we need to remain vigilant.
We've got to not walk away from the facts and the data. This is tough going for all of us.
We want to get as many people as possible to Easter, to Memorial Day next year, to the 4th of July.
Dr. Adams knows not everyone will listen. If that's the case, he says testing needs to be a priority.
If you gather with people outside of your household, especially without a mask, then we recommend that you get tested 4 to 5 days after that gathering.
Get tested before you travel, too. And there are a number of other safety tips on cdc.gov.
Being outside, good ventilation, making sure there's plenty of hand sanitizer.
All with the hope that this time next year, we'll have one more reason to celebrate.
Together, we're going to get through this.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
On Facebook, it's KOAM News Now. On the Insta poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Simple question, are you traveling for the holidays? We'll get to your responses and comments. Health Watch is next. Topping Health Watch this morning, every winter, millions of Americans struggle with seasonal affective disorder. It's also just called SAD for short. But this year, in the midst of a global pandemic, mental health advocates worry seasonal depression could actually take a harsher toll on people. Naomi Rockham explains the risks and how to deal with the disorder during an especially dark winter.
Gabrielle Starr was diagnosed with seasonal affective disorder in her late teens.
When I didn't have to go to class in college, I was just like in my bed. I wasn't working out. Like I would eat at really weird hours. I wasn't sleeping well.
Her symptoms of depression escalate as the season starts to change.
The first month, literally, of daylight savings time being over, my body is totally out of whack.
Doctors are concerned with the pandemic already impacting mental health. Seasonal affective disorder could mean an even darker winter than usual for many. Dr. Craig Sawchuk is a clinical psychologist at Mayo Clinic.
It makes it easier to forge through difficult times when you have a reliable light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, with the pandemic, that light keeps getting pushed further back.
Add unemployment or a sick family member to the mix, and that could make even more people vulnerable to seasonal depression.
You may have folks operating at a little bit more of a deficit, heading into this time of year because of social distancing and really doing the right things from a public health standpoint, but they may already be in more of an isolation kind of mode.
Experts say staying active can help, maintaining a healthy diet, treating with therapy and medication, and finding a good source of light, getting outside, or investing in a special lamp. Gabrielle takes vitamin D, meditates, and practices yoga.
It makes a huge difference in my day. It's sometimes really hard to force myself to do it, but I always feel better.
She also uses an alarm clock that mimics the rising sun. Naomi Rockham, CBS News, New York.
Now, to get through the season, experts recommend sticking to a routine as much as possible and connecting with loved ones through video chat until the pandemic is over. Excessive screen time for children tops the list of parents' concerns during the pandemic. You got a new poll from Michigan Medicine showing the highest ranking concerns involve emotional and physical health, and those are associated with lifestyle changes during the pandemic. Among black parents surveyed, the top concern was racism, followed by the COVID-19 virus itself. American Academy of Pediatrics giving doctors new guidance to spot and treat eating disorders to try to reduce the stigma. Academy says girls and boys across all ages, income levels, and racial groups can be affected. And older patients who get in shape before elective surgery may be able to counteract the effects of post-op bed rest with the proper amount of training. Researchers at University of Birmingham found short-term prehab strength exercises did not adequately prevent muscle loss. Instead, they recommend longer-term strength training to protect older muscle, as well as aerobic exercise and a protein-rich diet. That is a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, and with it being about 5:27, let's take a look at our wind chill numbers for this morning as we range anywhere from the high 20s to the high 30s. Temperatures even as much as the mid 40s right now. And for our first day of winter, a little abnormally warm all the way up into the 50s, if not 60s for the next 2 days. We'll be back right after this.
State's most watched news starts now.
Good Monday morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News where it's 5:30. I'm Michael Hayslip. Coming up this half hour, our morning talker is about holiday travel, whether it be on the KOAM News Now Facebook page or our morning Insta poll. Let us know whether or not you're hitting the road or the skies this week. Remember, you can go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote to take part in our Insta poll. Look up KOAM News Now on Facebook to leave one of your comments. Let's transition, take a live look outside of Television City. You can tell with Old Glory there on the left-hand side, a little bit of a south wind coming in. Hey, you have to pick up any good pictures of the stars. We'll get there in just a little bit. From the Skywatch Storm Tracker, clear as can be, absolutely no worries. And the Freeman Health System sky camera in Joplin already has us sitting at 46 degrees. A little bit of wind chill in there, 7-degree difference. Our temperatures kind of all over the place though. 46 as well in Carthage and 41 in Neosho. Compare that to the mid-30s that we see right now in Parsons and Neodesha, and then you've got places like Nevada and Pittsburgh kind of splitting the difference. Look at that, I almost threw up the bus stop forecast out of habit. We don't need that. Most everybody's on vacation now. We can skip right past that. Wind tracker is going to shift a little bit and eventually work in from the southwest, bring us those warmer temps as we'll be close to, if not throwing up, a couple of 60s here by the time we get into the afternoon. As a matter of fact, our first day of winter today and our first full day of winter tomorrow, we're going to see temperatures are going to be in the 60s really both days. So just kind of an abnormal start here. Now, things will develop a little bit by the time we get into Wednesday afternoon. That's when the cold front will be upon us and going to squeeze out some rain there as the temperatures drop. Not going to be surprised if we don't see some snowflakes there late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. But here's the positive aspect for those of you who are traveling. We're going to warm that ground up so much on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it's going to be hard-pressed for much of it to stick to the ground. Top congressional negotiators have reached a deal on a $900 billion COVID economic relief package. The agreement includes $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits, and for many Americans, a stimulus check of $600. There are also new subsidies for hard-hit businesses and funding for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. The Parsons Police Department's on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. Police receiving a call Saturday morning that pointed them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue. Officers found 18-year-old Andrew Scott suffering from multiple injuries after being hit by an unknown vehicle. He was flown to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spinks says there are possible suspects in this case who are withholding what they know in hopes of financial gain from Scott's injuries. The chief is asking anyone with information regarding this case to please come forward. Oklahoma investigators say they want to expand the search for bodies of victims in the Tulsa Race Massacre. The state archaeologist confirmed investigators believe more than 30 sets of remains may be buried at Oak Lawn Cemetery. She says they want to search an area almost 5 times the size of the trench that was dug back in October. Pittsburgh State University holding its annual Wreaths Across America dedication over the weekend. Although pandemic did alter the way it looked this year, as attendance for the event was condensed down to a small size and masks were required. Typically, you'll see anywhere from 50 to 100 people in attendance for the event. ROTC Captain Eric Leon gave a speech, and representatives of each branch of the military hung wreaths at the PSU Veterans Memorial. Dedication is different from Memorial and Veterans Day services. As Captain Leon says, this is more of a teaching moment for the public and younger generations about the sacrifices of veterans who gave their lives, as well as those who are still serving.
It's really, the importance behind it is to teach the younger generation. So, I mean, my son is here, he's listening, my little daughter's here as well. For them to experience and to understand what it is to sacrifice for this nation, right? What it is to see a person in uniform, and what exactly do they do, you know, the sacrifices they give.
The ceremony has also been recorded and posted on Pitt State's Facebook page to allow more people to view the dedication. A Missouri woman's taking some old and making it new again, as she developed a business that repurposes military uniforms into other items. Alan Shope with those details.
Glasses case, we've got a phone case, we've got doggy neckerchiefs.
Connie Swartz is in the business of recycling.
I thought I could make products out of these uniforms.
But it's probably not like any recycling you've ever seen before.
Honor and dignity and courage, all of those things are still in that uniform.
Connie takes donated military fatigues and gives them new life as something else, modern and useful, because she wants people to feel
those same things towards these products as they felt towards the man and the woman in the uniform.
Connie says it's quite a process. She has veteran volunteers to help take the uniforms apart. Then she
took them to the Sewing Labs, which is a local nonprofit that teaches people to sew.
The group says maybe the most popular item right now is this tote made entirely from a shirt.
It's simple and it's sincere.
She adds folks that have donated their old fatigues
are very pleased that they have been given a second life.
Connie says to continue honoring those that have served.
That's why we're working so that those uniforms can be saved.
A longtime Joplin favorite, Frank's Lounge, celebrating 50 years of serving customer. The pub was established back in 1970. It's been serving up some cold brews and smiles ever since. You had a ton of regulars that came out to show their support on Saturday. The owner of Frank's Lounge saying it's this kind of support that keeps their atmosphere fun, even during a difficult year like this.
Well, when we opened, Al Reynolds was the liquor control agent, and we moved from 625 Joplin up here, and he was to get our license transferred and all this. The day we opened, we didn't have a license, and Al said we couldn't open. Well, everybody came in and they drank pop, water, juice, and the Highway Patrol delivered our license to us. So when they did that, then we could sell beer.
I want to thank Judy for her time and also reflecting on those memories. That was great right there. Frank's Lounge is at 2112 South Main Street in Joplin. That's a look at this morning's top news stories. Now, coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, our own Jesse Irwin tells us how Water Gardens is bringing holiday cheer to people in need.
Well, as Santa warms up the sleigh and we rush to do any last-minute shopping, not everybody has the opportunity to make sure that there's presents under the tree. Well, coming up, we're going to learn how a Webb City church is helping one group of mothers make it happen this week. We'll have that story coming up.
Plus, a look at the way a Finnish bus company is maintaining social distancing with teddy bears. Be back with World Watch right after this. Topping World Watch, a new, more contagious strain of the coronavirus is spurring European lockdowns and additional travel restrictions. It has some of the U.S. worried about what it may mean for those of us in the States. Deborah Alfarone, she's in D.C. with the latest.
Epidemiologists in the UK say they've identified a new strain of the coronavirus that could spread 70% faster than original versions.
It seems like this new strain is more contagious. It doesn't seem to be any more virulent, any more dangerous than run-of-the-mill COVID.
Several countries are now restricting travel to and from the UK. Germany, which holds the EU presidency, called a special crisis meeting for today to coordinate a response.
It is with a very heavy heart, I must tell you, we cannot continue with Christmas as planned.
In the UK, 18 million people in London and most of England's southeast face severe restrictions, even being outlawed from visiting friends and family over the holidays.
The number of cases are going up, so I guess it's needed. It's not great for business, it's not good news for people, but I guess there's no way to avoid it.
And while Canada is among the nations that have issued a UK travel ban, the US has not.
Very important for people to know that viruses mutate all the time, and that does not mean that this virus is any more dangerous. We don't even know if it's really more contagious yet or not, or if it just happened to be a strain that was involved in a super spreader event.
Health experts say they believe the vaccines being administered now should still be effective against new strains. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News.
New York Governor Andrew Cuomo called it negligent and reprehensible that more is not being done to stop the spread of the new strain here in the United States. He said yesterday, quote, "It's high time the federal government takes swift action because today that variant is getting on a plane and landing in JFK," end quote. At least 9 people are dead, another 20 injured, including women and children, following a car bombing in Afghanistan. No one has claimed responsibility for the blast in Kabul on Sunday. Afghanistan has seen a sharp spike in violence in recent weeks as members of the Afghan government and the Taliban hold peace talks. Groups have been warring for nearly 2 decades. Recent bombing comes just 2 days after a rickshaw bomb killed 15 civilians, including 11 children. These 2 guys decided to take a dip in a frozen lake for a game of chess. Now here's why. One of them is Ron Budigas, the other one's Rick McNaught. They live in Ontario, Canada. Well, they wanted to ice swim for 5 minutes and decided to play chess as a way to keep them preoccupied in the freezing cold water. With their board laying on top of the lake, they were able to socially distance while having some frozen fun. If you had to keep your mind off of it, the question is, why did you decide you needed to do it for 5 minutes in the first place? Finnish bus company finding a creative way to remind people to maintain social distance, so they're seating large teddy bears next to passengers on public transportation to take up every other seat. In a statement, the company said the bears are disinfected regularly and they'll be cleaned and donated to a local children's hospital once their riding time has finished. As a look at some of the biggest headlines from around the world now, let's go over to Facebook with our Something to Talk About this morning because we're focusing on holiday travel. Our question to you, the CDC recommendation is to stay home. What are your plans? And we'll begin with Dave Sorek. Dave writes, no, not traveling, still laying low. Unlike Dr. Birx, the mayor of Denver, California, Rhode Island, who have all been busted saying, do as I say, not as I do. Rules for thee, Dave says, but not for me. Rick Norton says, nope, staying home. Merry Christmas, KOAM in Pittsburgh. Looking forward to the new year. Merry Christmas, Rick. Pamela K. Swatek, staying home. Michelle Pacini, good morning, KOAM and Mama. Good morning, Michelle. Wishing everyone a early Merry Christmas. Think smart, stay safe. For many years together, we're staying home, no gathering. Jason Smith, the grain hauler. I travel every day except for Christmas. Jason, we greatly appreciate your work, keeping us fed, and stay safe out there, my man. As far as the Instapoll goes this morning, an overwhelming 90% say, nope, I'm going to stay at home during the holidays. You still have a chance to vote. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this. Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Top congressional negotiators reaching a deal on close to a $900 billion COVID economic relief package. The agreement includes $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits, and for many Americans, a stimulus check of $600. There are also new subsidies for hard-hit businesses, funding for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. Parsons Police Department on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. Police called Saturday morning, pointing them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue, where 18-year-old Andrew Scott was found suffering from multiple injuries. He was hit by an unknown vehicle. Scott life-flighted to Freeman Hospital. Police now asking anyone with information regarding this case to come forward. In Southwest City, Missouri, a man dead after a crash. It actually happened in Maize County, Oklahoma. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says it happened just before midnight on State Highway 20, about 3 miles east of Spavinaw. 57-year-old Domingo Nennis was driving west when he failed to negotiate a curve, went off the road and hit a tree. Nennis was pronounced dead at the scene. His passenger was flown to a hospital in Tulsa, admitted and listed in stable condition with a head injury. PSU holding its annual Wreaths Across America dedication ceremony on Saturday, although the pandemic, of course, did alter the way it looked this year. Attendance for the event condensed down to a small size, masks required, and typically you'll see 50 to 100 people in attendance for this event. ROTC Captain Eric Leon gave a speech, and representatives of each branch of the military hung wreaths at the PSU Veterans Memorial. That is a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. And when you do step outside, remember, we are officially in winter. Winter solstice happened very early this morning. Thing is, it's certainly not going to feel like winter for the next 3 days, really. We'll make it up into the high 50s, if not throw a 60 up every now and then. And future track remains clear and sunny, which means more 60s on Tuesday. Finally, the cold front from Wednesday into Thursday. We call it Notes to the North Pole, and it's your opportunity to let the kids sit down and maybe see if they'd like to type up something to Santa. You go to KOAMnewsnow.com. There on the right-hand side, you're going to see a picture of Santa himself. It's as easy as clicking on that, and like I said, you and the littles can sit down. Won't take you but probably 5 to 10 minutes to finish it off, and as a matter of fact, we've got a visit from the big man coming up here just a little bit later in the 6 o'clock hour of the KOAM Morning News. Speaking of Christmas, of course, it's traditionally busy holiday travel season. This is not any traditional year by any means. Our question to you is simply, are you traveling for the holidays? And we'll continue our comments by going to Rob Getz. Rob says, staying home, grandparents here, so we are home base. Natasha Brookshell. Natasha, thank you for your hard work as well, because Natasha's a chicken farmer. She says, I'm busy feeding America. Glenn Ritchie's staying at home. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas, and a Merry Christmas to you too, Glenn. John Tribbian not traveling. Kids are coming to see John and the fam. Good morning, America, and good morning, John. And Becky Mingarelli, we rarely travel over Christmas and definitely staying home this year. Red Berry, we're staying home. We've dodged the COVID this long. No need to pick it up at this point. Good Merry Christmas, KOAM gang in 4 states. Merry Christmas to you, Rhett. Guy Hansen says, fear not, I'm a conspiracy theorist. You might want to pass me by. Guy, you know I don't do that. Think about an entire planet engulfed in one single crisis, with everyone on Earth under the same controlling forces, an entire population walking in lockstep, an entire planet being taught to dress the same face coverings, an entire planet with all capitalist business shut down. Is this the beginning, or is it one world order? Guy, you know I never skip you over. Come on. On our Insta poll this morning, an overwhelming 94% say no, don't plan on traveling. You got plenty of time to vote. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Now, we're only a few days away from Christmas. That's where we bring in our own Jesse Irwin, a prime example of the powerful role that community and hope can play during this holiday season. Jesse?
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, well, as Santa warms up the sleigh and we rush to do any last-minute holiday shopping, not everyone has an easy time making sure that there's presents under the tree, let alone food on the table. And this would be the case for families living at Washington Family Hope Center, but fortunately, they're surrounding themselves with a whole lot of love.
Women are not allowed to do whatever they want, so they have to follow the tradition. You are not free. You don't have that freedom.
That's what Marcella Pio says life is like in the Republic of Congo, and what drove her to come to the United States.
I moved here, it's 3 years and I would say 6 months. I came to study and I didn't have much time with my son, so I was working day through night, so it was kind of exhausting and I couldn't do it anymore. So I was looking for an apartment and I got the chance to have a room here.
Here is the Washington Family Hope Center in downtown Joplin, which opened in June. As part of Water Gardens Ministries, it's a shelter for mothers and their children, and it's where Marcella and her son Akil have built a sense of community, not only with the staff members and other families, but with the community volunteers like those with Wellspring Church in Webb City.
Getting to know the families and investing in those relationships, we actually had a family from our church approach me and say, we need to do something to make sure that this Christmas is special for all of the families here, no different than any of us or any other year.
So they took all of the mothers holiday shopping. Little did Akil know that while he and his friends were busy playing games at home, their moms were busy helping Santa.
Some of the moms were looking for clothes, some of them were looking for electronics, some of them, all of them were really looking for toys, just to help make this Christmas special.
And at Water Gardens, everything we do is a reciprocal thing. We don't just give handouts, everything is earned. And so we were trying to think of ideas of how the moms could earn this shopping experience.
So the moms were given the task of decking the halls of their home with the holiday spirit.
For them to be able to take that and use that as their earn it to be able to go shopping and buy gifts for their kids where they earn that. It's not just somebody handing them money and them taking that, but they're earning that money, they're earning that experience, and that provides dignity, which we feel like is very important.
Looking toward the future, Marcella is currently working to get into a nursing program. While she's grateful for what she and Akil have today, she looks forward to the day she can pay it forward.
Washington family, I know for sure that they will do more for more women, and I'm just praying that I will be able one day to help, like donate for the lady as the other ladies donated for me.
Well, tonight we're going to be holding our first Feed the Four States telethon during our 9 p.m. broadcast on Fox 14. Viewers are going to be able to call in and make donations in support of local food pantries, and Rodney Rambo with Crosslines Ministries will be part of the broadcast as well to discuss the need this winter. So again, you can take part in that tonight at 9 o'clock during our broadcast then. And Michael, we'll toss it back to you.
All right, Jesse, looking forward to that. Thank you very much, my man. We'll catch up with you here in the next hour as well. We'll be right back with more KOAM morning news and update our old day planner here on this first day of winter when we return. Maybe winter, but we're going to throw up back-to-back days with 60s on the board before the cold front arrives Wednesday afternoon. We'll be back right after this.
Four States' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, the big man in red makes his return for Notes to the North Pole. We'll hear from Santa himself as he reads more Christmas lists sent in by four-state kids. And the CDC issues another travel warning ahead of the holidays. For our Something to Talk About, we're asking if you plan on traveling. Feel free to participate in our Insta poll at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. But first, check on your forecast.
Clear as can be on this first day of winter from the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Absolutely no worries, whether it be cloud cover or precip, and it's very comfortable considering we're pushing into the latter half of December here with temperatures right now of 44. Oh, we've been all over the board. Look at Carthage and Neosho. They're already up at 45. But now we've got a huge difference when we push into Chanute and Neosho, which are 34 and 35 respectively. Miami kind of splitting the difference down there at 37, 38. That's the second time I've done that. We don't need the bus stop forecast. Sleep in, kiddos. You don't watch me. Sleep in. That's the best thing you can do. Wind shifting and eventually move in from the southwest right there. It's not going to be too bad. National perspective shows us that high pressure just kind of hanging over us with no worries whatsoever. Our weather trend is going to put us up with sunny skies in the high 50s, if not low 60s here by the time it's all said and done. Let's fast forward and get us a couple days ahead here because Monday and Tuesday are going to be both up into the 60s. All right, so what do we got developing after that? Well, then on Wednesday, we're going to have a cold front that's going to push through. And so wet Wednesday, 6 a.m., 55 degrees. Yeah, after that, it's going to continually drop down. Now, here's the positive aspect of the precip for Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Hopefully that ground warms up here for the next 3 days. We don't have a whole lot of it sticking. For those of you that are traveling, try to keep those weather concerns to a minimal. But that is what we're going to keep our eyes on here headed toward Christmas Eve. Looks like it wants to squeeze over, stay as rain for the most part right now. Yeah, you see a snowflake or two, but we're not looking at any accumulation numbers.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. All right, thanks, Michael. Top congressional negotiators have reached a deal on a close to a $900 billion COVID economic relief package. The agreement includes $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits, and for many Americans, a stimulus check of $600. There are also new subsidies for hard-hit businesses and funding for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. Parsons Police Department is on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. Police got a call at 4:40 Saturday morning that pointed them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue where 18-year-old Andrew Scott was suffering from multiple injuries after being hit by an unknown vehicle. Scott was life-flighted to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink says there are possible suspects in this case who are withholding what they know in hopes of financial gain from Scott's injuries. He's asking anyone with information regarding this case to please come forward. Southwest City has issued a boil advisory for its residents. Utility Supervisor Shane Clark says it's due to low chlorine levels in the water. You can check for updates on the city's Facebook page. Pittsburgh State University held its annual Wreaths Across America dedication ceremony on Saturday. And although the pandemic did alter the way it looked this year, Attendance for the event was condensed down to a small size with masks required. Typically, they see around 50 to 100 people in attendance for the event. ROTC Captain Eric Leon gave a speech, and representatives of each branch of the military hung wreaths at the PSU Veterans Memorial. Dedication is different from Memorial and Veterans Day. Captain Leon says it's more of a teaching moment to the public and younger generations of the sacrifices of veterans who gave their lives and those still serving. Well, due to the effects of the coronavirus pandemic, more than 50 million people may experience food insecurity, including a potential 17 million children. That's according to the nonprofit Feeding America. Yesterday, Hope City Church volunteers teamed up to pack 40,000 meals for local families in need this holiday season. KOAM's Caitlin Shive has more.
For the past 4 years, Hope City Church has come together to make meals for families in need. Travis Keller is taking part for the very first time.
Oh, it's amazing. That just shows the spirit of Joplin. I mean, we are so community oriented that it's amazing to see everybody do that.
He embraced the role as table leader, directing groups of volunteers on how much to pack and put into each box.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's a great time, great event, and just to help out the community.
This year, Hope City Church teamed up with Meals of Hope and Watered Gardens, packaging 40,000 meals that will be distributed to the hungry in the Joplin area and surrounding communities.
We are able to get, it's really a macaroni and cheese type meal. And then for those who also give throughout the year, they support those meals with canned goods and other items that really create a basket for families. And we're excited. The group that we partner with that gives us all the supplies that we purchase, they come in, do all the setup, and they really help us make that happen.
With the current pandemic, the hundreds of volunteers wore gloves, masks, and hairnets to ensure a safe event.
It's a little different this year, but we've got several hundreds of people who come, and then groups of about 10 around each table that make those meals happen and the packing take place.
And the effort put on by Hope City was more important this year than ever.
We feel it. I mean, everybody has been struggling this year, so just to be able to go, this is something we can do to really invest in our community and to give back, man, it's an incredible feeling.
In Joplin, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
Watered Gardens will be receiving the boxes of meals for distribution to those in need. Running enthusiasts got together to preview the Chili 5K course yesterday afternoon. The course can also be walked, but this was a good warm-up for anyone thinking about taking part in the event. Chili 5K is set for January 1st. Everyone who took part in this preview was encouraged to wear a mask and social distance. Organizers are glad to see this kind of turnout and support for the upcoming run.
That feels really good. That means a lot of people are excited about running together yet apart. As you see, we're going to run 6 feet apart, but everybody's keen on exercise and being out in the outdoors, and being in a group like this just encourages everybody to come out even on a cold day like that.
Organizers say there will be another opportunity next weekend to meet up and preview the course ahead of race day. Well, the Christmas spirit is alive and well in Carl Junction, where jolly old St. Nick paid a visit. Santa sat outside on the soccer field, and parents were invited to take pictures of their kids. Carl Junction Football Club wanted to give their players an opportunity to visit Santa in a safer way.
We knew that there were a lot of families that hadn't been able to see Santa due to limited availability and, different COVID regulations. So we thought, why not bring him out to the soccer field?
The event was free, but donations were accepted to help cover costs. 6:07.
We're going to fast forward here because this is a look at our Monday planner. We're going to get high 50s. Tomorrow, we're going to be low to mid 60s. So let's fast forward here to Wednesday, because that's when that cold front drops through with a little moisture as well. Now, right now, everything wants to stay as snow up to the north. That's the key. As we progress through, we see it begin to drop just a little bit on us there for Wednesday afternoon, evening hours before it pushes through. We're just hoping our ground is so warm for the last 3 days before it hits that it's going to have a hard time sticking.
That's a look at this morning's top stories in weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we'll be joined by jolly old St. Nick as he reads more lists sent in by 4 state children. Plus how you can keep the kids healthy during the winter break, and a look at one restaurant's creative approach to outdoor dining in the cold. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. In Money Watch this morning, Wall Street fell to end last week. The Dow dropped 124 points. The Nasdaq was down 9. S&P 500 lost 13. Congress will vote on a $900 billion coronavirus relief package today. The long-delayed legislation includes $600 in direct stimulus payments, $300 in extra unemployment benefits, money for schools and businesses, and more. Well, the weather is getting colder and coronavirus infections are on the rise. The public health impact is tragic, and the economic impact due to restrictions is painful. For those in the restaurant business, wintry weather wields a double-edged sword. Outdoor dining was a workaround, but frigid temperatures make that harder to manage. Family-owned restaurant in Michigan has found a creative solution. Michael Martin reports.
I am just super excited that we are kind of back to a little bit of normal.
A step in the right direction, says the family behind Sand Bar and Grill in Middleville, after they figured out a way to give their customers a unique and enjoyable restaurant experience.
Think on the fly. You have to be able to adapt and adjust to whatever's going to make you money and keep us afloat and the doors open.
In their parking lot off M179, they have set up what they're calling Shantyland.
Of course you can. When we had to close everything down, we noticed that people started just coming out here and sitting and having drinks, and then it turned into eating their to-go food out here.
Realizing that customers were spending hours in front of their giant outdoor fireplace after picking up to-go orders, they considered ways to expand their outdoor accommodations.
And so we thought, how can we make this into kind of a winter lodge type of place where people can actually get together again and have dinner out without worrying about, breaking the rules or being exposed to something.
You guys doing good?
So anyone is invited to bring their own ice shanty to the lot, or for a small fee, you can rent one of 3 the restaurant has available. In business for a decade this month, the family has gotten used to creative problem solving.
This is one of those businesses that if it's not going perfect, there's always something you can do to adjust it, find a way to serve people.
And the people they serve, they say, have become like family, growing even closer through this difficult year.
There's not many restaurants in the area. We are a community restaurant, community center for sure.
All of our regulars are so supportive. That's who we would normally have in our building right now. That's who we're kind of trying to get back here, the people that keep us afloat in the winter.
If all goes well, they plan to bring Shantyland back next year.
I mean, we'll keep this going, but we'd like to be a little bit inside next year too, if possible.
Family is participating in the Toys for Tots drive as they do every year. They're giving out a $5 gift card to their restaurant for every toy donated. Well, a shakeup for French dressing fans. The Food and Drug Administration is proposing removing ingredient requirements for the salad dressing at the request of the Association for Dressings and Sauces. Right now, dressing must include vinegar, oil, and lemon or lime in order to be called French. The change would allow companies more freedom with their recipes. This all comes just after a similar move was proposed for frozen cherry pie. That's it for Money Watch. Now here's Michael with something to talk about.
Who knew? KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. Holiday travel rush is starting despite the pandemic. Our question to you, are you traveling for the holidays? And we'll begin with Will Baptiste. Will says, if I wanted to, yes, but no, I'll be staying home this year. Stop buying into the bleep. KOAM spreads lies and misinformation just like the lying Fauci and Gates. Stand up for freedom and Merry Christmas. Well, I'm in a Christmas mood. Merry Christmas to you. And I appreciate your engagement. Rocky Cunningham says, nope, just going to hunker down and wait out the rest of this horrid excuse of a year. Risa Wickwire says, staying home. Just wish more people would wear masks when in stores. I realize a lot of people think they're untouchable, but during this pandemic, no one is. Please take time to put your masks on in public. And Denton Ramsey says, the Rona don't scare me. I'll be traveling several times. Have planned to leave town all I want. Will be enjoying my time from a tree, working on filling the freezer or on the lake. Hard to beat cold water crappie. I'm feeling we're going to do a little hunting and fishing there during the Christmas Day in Bay. Denton, best of luck to you. Best of luck to you. Now, on the Insta poll this morning, 93% of you say no plans to travel the holiday season. Still got time to make your voice heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Coming up next,
Don't miss
Santa Claus.
America.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. As we all prepare for Christmas, we also have what we call Notes to the North Pole. You know, leading up to the big day, we wanted to hear from all the 4-state boys and girls about not only what was on their wish list, but also too, you know, if they had the opportunity and they could ask Santa a question, what they'd like to know. Well, I'll tell you what, the questions were so good. You did the journalist job for me. Your kids' questions were so good that thanks to our friends at the Christmas shop, we were able to bring in a special guest to help answer those questions and go through your list. Joining us direct from the North Pole, I'd like to welcome back Santa Claus. Santa, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing really well, Michael, and how's everything down in the south?
You know, not too bad. You know, weather's actually been mild, especially when I think what you and Mrs. Claus and the elves and the reindeer, what you deal with every day up there in the far north. But I just want to thank you for your time. So, Santa, real fast, do you have time for a couple of questions?
I sure do.
Like I said, our 4-state kids came up with these wonderful questions. Like Tristan, are the reindeer ready to fly all night to our house? That's what Tristan asked.
Well, they've been out exercising the last few weeks, running and flying and just getting ready to go. But this week they'll rest up, so they'll be ready to go on Christmas Eve. And they will be ready to make it to your house.
Sarah brings up a great question here. And I think her favorite reindeer may be Rudolph. There's no offense to any of your others, Santa. But Sarah wants to know, what is Rudolph's favorite food?
Well, Rudolph, he really likes carrots. He eats a lot of those every day. But all of the reindeer also, they like candy canes, but we try to keep that to moderation. We don't give them a lot of them.
Hey, Santa, I want to ask you about a couple Christmas lists because Lily, she is in Neodesha, a little Blue Street Pride there writing in. And I was curious to know if you had gotten her letter yet.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that's on her list is some of Mrs. Claus's favorites. It really is. She would like a Barbie dream camper, a bunny rabbit.
I want to just go right up the road from Neodesha because Kara in Chanute, she actually came up with a nice Christmas list as well.
She sure did. Kara was wanting a Blue Mountain bike, a Nintendo Switch, and an IHOP gift card.
And one more for you, Santa, if you've got the time. In Parsons, I was told the other day, and I hope it showed up, did Tristan's letter get there yet?
Yes, it did. Well, he's got Boss Baby Movie, Thanos gloves, and board games to play with his cousins.
That's looking out for other people right there, Tristan. That is awesome. I got just a couple more for you, and I'm going to go to Pittsburgh for these last two.
All righty.
I'd like to start with Maddie.
Yeah, Maddie. She's wanting a baby that looks real, baby clothes, and baby toys.
That's a great idea, Maddie. And actually, since we're in Pittsburgh, how about Addie?
Yeah, and Addie's looking for an iPad, a look real baby, and an iPhone.
So I think maybe what they have in mind right there is that Addie can bust out the electronics and get some pictures of Maddie while she's getting the baby ready. Well, Santa, I want to thank you once again.
Well, thank you, Michael, and I just want to wish you and all the staff there at the TV station a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
A Merry Christmas to you, Santa. Now, I tell you what, I know you get so many letters and lists. Have you back on again?
You bet.
Yes!
Anytime, anytime.
Working out perfectly. All right, Santa, thank you so much for joining us direct from the North Pole, and we'll have more KOAM Morning News for you right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. For many students across the country, it's holiday break. While that can be fun and exciting, it can also be stressful, especially during the pandemic. Mandy Gaither has 6 ways to help you navigate the holidays.
Whether it's juggling childcare or family coming to town, the holiday break can be fun or feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. First, maintain simple routines.
That might mean just going to sleep around the same time every day, generally waking up around the same time too. And just by doing that, it lets our kids and ourselves know what to expect, which can really create a sense of comfort and security.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life says next, practice healthy habits, eat well, get good sleep, limit screen time, and stay active. Third, it's okay to say no.
There's only so much time in the day, and if we say yes to everything, we're just going to feel overloaded and probably burned out within a couple of days, if not hours.
Fourth, just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. It can help you cope with stress and unwind. Fifth, get creative. Maybe start a new tradition.
Instead of thinking about all the things we can't do, we can really use it as an opportunity with our family to embrace change and think about what we can do instead.
Finally, stay connected to family and friends you can't see because of the pandemic.
Instead of just having a regular phone call, consider turning it into a FaceTime or a Zoom.
For today's Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A therapist says you'll need to plan for going back to school too. Acknowledge your child's feelings about the break ending and make a plan to spend quality time together so you both have something to look forward to, so things go smoothly on the first morning back. Get outfits, lunches, and backpacks ready. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Boy, I feel bad now. I told Mom, make sure you get the dishes done by the time I get home today. Like, welcome to Christmas break, kiddos. Temperatures in the high 50s, if not the 60s, for our first day of winter. 3 days of warm winter temperatures before the cold front arrives on Wednesday. Back right after this.
State's most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. Coming up this half hour, what you need to know about the arrival of the Moderna vaccine. Something to talk about on the KOAM News Now Facebook page. We're asking if you plan on traveling for the holidays. You can also chime in on our Insta poll. Just visit KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. But first, a check on your forecast.
We're starting to get there. The sky is just a little lighter outside of Television City, and temperature's not too bad as we are clear as a bell on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Freeman Health System sky camera sits at 44 degrees right now. A little wind chill in effect. Only feeling like 38, but that's not too bad, seeing as how this is our first day of winter. Winter solstice hit this morning at 4:02 Central Standard Time. 43 in Carthage, 36 in Independence, and 38 in Fort Scott. And I did it again! It's a creature of habit with the bus stop forecast. I keep on forgetting the majority of our kids are out right now. Wind is going to shift throughout the day, eventually feed us some warmer temperatures that'll put us up into the high 50s, if not some 60s on the board for our Monday. Certainly not going to feel like the first day of winter, whether it be today or tomorrow, as the sunshine will just continue to beat down on us. It's going to be absolutely delightful. How about some 60s there on Tuesday as well? Now, Wednesday is when we got some developments that are going to begin to show up out there to the west, but our ground should be warm enough that, number one, it's going to start as rain. Number two, any snow showers that we are able to squeeze out should not stick to the ground that much. So that's what we'll keep our eye on as far as travel conditions go. But I will tell you, as we stand about, say, 72 hours away from it or so, right now, not looking too bad. Just chilly on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day.
All right. Any need for Santa to have Rudolph with his sleigh team? Going to be a little
Rudolph
cloudy?
he doesn't even pay attention to 7 Day. It doesn't matter.
He's waiting until the night of to make that decision.
No. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's like a male person. Rain, sleet, or shine.
Well, we know about Santa, but whether he's going to have Rudolph with him or not, that's the question.
Why wouldn't he?
He doesn't need him if it's going to be a clear sky.
Yeah, he always makes a trip. When they unionized and everything, that got written in the collective bargaining agreement.
All right. There you have it, kids. It's all about the union. Rudolph will be included.
That union is as powerful as the MLBPA.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, top congressional negotiators have reached a deal on a close to a $900 billion COVID economic relief package. The agreement includes $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits and, for many Americans, a stimulus check of $600. There are also new subsidies for hard-hit businesses and funding for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. Parsons Police Department is on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. Police got a call at 4:40 Saturday morning that pointed them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue, where 18-year-old Andrew Scott was suffering from multiple injuries after being hit by an unknown vehicle. Scott was life-flighted to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. Parsons Police Chief Robert Spink says there are possible suspects in this case who are withholding what they know in hopes of financial gain from Scott's injuries. He's asking anyone with information regarding this case to please come forward. A Southwest City, Missouri man is dead after a crash Friday night in Mays County. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says the crash happened just before midnight on State Highway 20, about 3 miles east of Spavana, Oklahoma. 57-year-old Domingo Nennis was driving west when he failed to negotiate a curve, went off the road and hit a tree. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Authorities say Nennis had an odor of alcohol and was driving too fast. His passenger was life-flighted to St. John Hospital in Tulsa and admitted in stable condition with a head injury. Saturday is National Wreaths Across America Day. Pittsburgh State University held its annual dedication ceremony, although it did look different this year due to the pandemic. KOAM's Caitlin Shive spoke with a couple of veterans in attendance who hold the ceremony in high regard.
Each December, Wreaths Across America Day is observed as a way to remember, honor, and teach.
What distinguishes this over Memorial Day, which is, in memory of our veterans and so on, and then Veterans Day, in honor of veterans who are still serving, it's really more of a teaching opportunity to the public and to the younger generations.
As part of the National Observance Day, Pittsburgh State University held its own dedication ceremony at the Veterans Memorial. Captain Leon brought his own kids to attend.
My son is here, he's listening, my little daughter's here as well. For them to experience and to understand what it is to sacrifice for this nation, right? What it is to see a person in uniform, and what exactly do they do, the sacrifices they give.
The ceremony did look different this year. Typically it sees around 50 to 100 in attendance, but this year that was reduced to more than half because of the pandemic.
We actually do have awesome technology nowadays. It's not too much of a burden on us. I mean, it's actually at times even a benefit that we actually get to put this online. We reach a lot more people than we used to.
And although the pandemic may have changed the way the ceremony looked, it didn't change the meaning behind it. Richard Fulton represented the U.S. Air Force in the hanging of the wreaths, but he was also there to remember his friends he had lost.
I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to remember them in a public forum, and also to remember them in a private way by hanging the wreath.
The same goes for Ed Fox, who represented the Navy.
There's one of my good buddies, his name is on the wall down here, and Stephen Benefeld, and I think about him quite often. He was never recovered, so kind of gets you right here.
In Pittsburgh, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
Ceremony was also recorded and posted to Facebook to allow more people to take part virtually. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Kris Kringle in trouble. We're going to tell you how rescue crews worked to save Santa after he got stuck in some power lines. Plus, are you traveling for the holidays? We let you weigh in on our Something to Talk About, but first it's 6:37.
Let's roll future track here after back-to-back days of high 50s, low 60s on Monday and in Tuesday. We can kind of fast forward here and take a look at what we're anticipating with our cold front on Wednesday. Now right now this model will give you a good idea of how we expect it to stay as rain. We see a little bit of snow try to creep in there on the southeastern portion of the 4 states late Wednesday, early Thursday, and then a chilly Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, a new COVID-19 vaccine. This one from Moderna is starting to be distributed in the U.S., but it will be months before most people will be able to get vaccinated. In the meantime, the pandemic is still raging across much of the country. John Lawrence reports.
COVID-19 infections, hospitalizations, and deaths in the U.S. keep climbing.
It will get worse because we still are experiencing
the outcome of the Thanksgiving holidays.
According to data from Johns Hopkins University, the number of known cases in the U.S. doubles about every 2 months, and health officials say expected holiday travel this week will likely feed the surge.
Exactly what the numbers may be, I don't know, but unfortunately, they're going to be higher than what they are today.
To combat the ongoing threat, the U.S. has a new weapon to fight the deadly virus, a vaccine from Moderna. A Centers for Disease Control and Prevention panel voted to prioritize the shots for some, including residents in long-term care facilities and healthcare personnel.
Obviously, we all wish we had all the vaccine in the world, that we could get everybody vaccinated immediately. But I think this tiering saves lives, probably does the best on reducing transmission.
There's also a new variant of COVID-19 detected in the United Kingdom, causing some countries to suspend travel from the UK.
It doesn't make you more seriously ill, but it does spread more readily, and the vaccine should continue to be effective against it.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Well, President-elect Joe Biden is scheduled to get a COVID-19 vaccine today. The stars will align on the winter solstice, or more accurately, the solar system's 2 largest planets will, on the night of December 21st. That's tonight, by the way. Jupiter and Saturn will look nearer to one another than they have since the Middle Ages. It's called a conjunction. This one is exceptionally rare for the close proximity. The result will look like a double planet. And given the timing, some people are calling it the Christmas star. That's because Christians believe a star guided the wise men to the newborn Jesus. The conjunction will be the closest at about an hour after sunset. Keep an eye on that. Well, a close call for a Santa Claus in California. Jolly old St. Nick was out for a little fun and candy delivery over the skies of Rio Linda Sunday, when the paragliding aircraft he was maneuvering became entangled in power lines. Santa was trapped for about an hour until the Sacramento Metro Fire Department came to his rescue. Luckily, the jolly man is safe and ready for duty later this week. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for our morning talker.
Thank you, Tanya. KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Instapoll as holiday travel is starting despite the pandemic. Our question for you is if you are traveling for the holidays, and we pick up with Sheila Bach-Bradley. Sheila says, we're staying at home. All the kids are coming here. Merry Christmas, KOAM. And Merry Christmas to you, Sheila. Mary Dugan says, just about 10 miles from Pittsburgh to Franklin to brother-in-law's home. Just be the 4 of us. And Dave Pitts Sr., staying home gladly. Dave says he's beating the hustle and bustle cartoon accompaniment from Mr. Dave. On the Instapoll this morning, it's dropped below 90%, but it's still overwhelming. It's 89% of you say no, don't plan on traveling for the holidays. Only 11% saying yes. You still got a chance to make your voice heard. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We're going to come back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero, Private First Class Ulyss Combs, who served in the United States Army from 1944 to 1945. He fought in Europe during World War II and received 5 Bronze Stars. His hometown, Neosho, Missouri. We are proud to salute Ulyss Combs, our 4-state hero.
Declan Siger celebrated his first birthday over the weekend. Declan, I hope you had a marvelous day and hope you have a marvelous Christmas there, buddy. He's in Oronogo.
Sophia Glute turning 2 years old this year. Having fun at the park there in that picture in Neosho. Happy birthday, Sophia.
On to the big number 3, which is where we find Hannah Greenwood. Hannah, a very happy birthday to you in Girard.
All right, Berkeley Zimmerman turning 4 years old this year. Happy birthday to Berkeley in Humboldt.
Well, I think I know who that dude to the right of Berkeley is. That's her uncle, Wyatt Sufert, as Berkeley and Wyatt with the back-to-back birthdays. Wyatt also in Humboldt.
All right, Alicia Mayfield celebrating birthday number 6 this year. Happy birthday to Alicia.
Going to make a trip out to Iola, and that's where we find Dagan Rodriguez sporting the mohawk and celebrating his 8th birthday. Happy birthday, Dagan.
Neve Keeling turning 10 years old this year, celebrating in Parsons.
All right, Morgan Monroe. I got happy birthday wishes from Mom and Bailey. A happy birthday to Morgan with the teenage years now underway in Columbus.
And we've got the Fagan twins celebrating. Congrats going out to Marshall Fagan and Haley Fagan, both of them 13 years old.
Caitlin Schoenhofer, let's go ahead and carry those birthday wishes on into this week as well. Caitlin, a happy 15th in Parsons.
That looks very uncomfortable. Hopefully she was able to get out of that car. And Kinsey Newkirk is sweet 16 this year in Girard.
Got these wishes coming from Mom, Dad, and Parker going to Dakota Berry as Dakota celebrates his number 24th birthday. Dakota wants you to have a great day and a marvelous upcoming Christmas. Dakota's in Miami.
All right, Ashley Hensley turning 37 years old in Neosho. Happy birthday from your 4 kids, husband, and family.
Sheila Harris, she's celebrating a 39th birthday. Sheila wants you to have a marvelous birthday in Erie.
Tracy Rutledge celebrating birthday number 55 this year. Oh, look at that. Tracy is in Chanute.
Let's keep it in Chanute because that's where Kathy Ford is surrounded by her family. They're celebrating her 68th. Happy birthday, Kathy.
Denzel Voorhees turning 75 years old this year. Happy birthday to Denzel in Lamar.
And a 76th birthday in Joplin for Clyde Stalling. Oh, looks like Mr. Stalling may have gotten Christmas started early right there. Looks like we were opening the gifts already. Happy birthday, Clyde.
And we've got a 12th wedding anniversary for the Kennedys in Goodman, Missouri.
Whoa,
Congrats
slow down there, folks.
Did I skip one?
No, you're doing fine. Slow down there.
Okay.
Let's go back. Can we get Johnny and Jessica Kennedy
Yeah,
up
we're
there?
skipping through too fast. Johnny and Jessica Kennedy, 12 years together. Let's see, we just had Clyde Stallings' picture up before the Kennedys. Jessica is Clyde Stallings' daughter, and that's the connection there.
Now this is Fern Neely. This is why Fern was up for a while, because this happens to be our own Will York, he does all our pictures and birthdays and graphics here. That's one of his aunts. Happy 86 to you, Miss Fern in Joplin.
And Miss Marla Gurley celebrating a birthday in Galena. Hope it's a great one, Marla.
Run out to Badger. Gary and Levon Level, they are celebrating their 54th anniversary. Marvelous picture right there. Congratulations, Gary and Levon. And who that is? That dude.
It's our very own Jordan Abbey.
It is. I know that guy anyway. Happy birthday, Mr. Jordan. Of course, he holds down the Fox 14 News at 9 show. Jordan, a very happy birthday from all of us here, and you make sure the fan spoils you today. Nah, whatever. His wife keeps him in order. That's a wonderful thing. Thank goodness she does. You just run rampant if she didn't. Happy birthday, Jordan. We'll see you in a bit, my man.
All right, and we've got a list that goes on with Alta May Merrill turning 92 years old this year in St. Paul.
A couple things you don't want to like sit down and challenge Miss Alta May in. Couple things.
Scrabble.
Bingo.
And word puzzles.
Bingo.
She's a champ.
Alta May will take you onto the table right there. Happy birthday, Alta May. Darius and Cheryl Simpson, a happy anniversary to you. The Simpsons are in Weir. And a 40th anniversary for Britt and Diana Commons. They are celebrating their 40th in Cherokee. Congratulations, Britt and Diana. I'll run them through here. Landon York, he's got a big 5th birthday. Landon's celebrating in Lawton and prepping for Christmas, I bet you. And Roger Clark, last but not least. Roger, a happy 79th birthday to you, big sir. And happy anniversary, happy birthday to all on this December 21st. Now, here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right, you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club. All you have to do is go to our website and sign up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Final look at the weather. I forgot I ran out of comments, so that's why I just went with this. We'll do it this way. Because I want to point out something that Tanya talked about earlier. Mostly sunny for our start of winter and temps well above average. But earlier Tanya was talking about the conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. And really your best time to look at that, we've got sunset over Joplin at 5:05. And you really got to wait for the sun to go down all the way. And even twilight, it's really hard to get. So really in between 6 and 7 were the prime hours last night. And the nice thing is we're going to have clear skies, and it's not going to be, you know, really too cold for December. So if you'd like to take the kids out, it's visible with the naked eye. I grabbed a pair of binoculars last night and got a great shot of it. If you have a telescope, they'll just absolutely get a kick out of it, because remember, this hasn't happened since the Middle Ages, and it's going to be a long time before they get that close again. So once again, in between 6 and 7 tonight, really your best hours. Now, abnormally warm on Monday and Tuesday. Now look at the cold front beginning to stretch in here early Wednesday. The nice thing is it looks like we're going to keep everything as rain. If we squeeze out some snowflakes here, hopefully our ground is warm enough that even as it moves a little bit to the south, it shouldn't really affect travel plans. Hopefully not that much, that's what I'm wishing. I know everybody would like some snow on the ground for have a white Christmas and whatnot, but kind of more concerned about people that are going to be traveling there on Thursday. And so really not looking at anything severe right now. But that'll kind of be our main focal point here as we push toward Christmas. Christmas is going to be cool and sunny, and then we'll start talking about rain over the weekend there, but at least we're back close to 50 degrees on Saturday and Sunday.
All right, well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Top congressional negotiators have reached a deal on a close to a $900 billion COVID economic relief package. The agreement includes $300 a week in extended unemployment benefits, and for many Americans, a stimulus check of $600. There are also new subsidies for hard-hit businesses and funding for schools, healthcare providers, and renters facing eviction. Parsons Police Department is on the lookout for a hit-and-run suspect after a victim was seriously injured. Police got a call at 4:40 Saturday morning that pointed them to a ditch near 35th and Southern Avenue, where 18-year-old Andrew Scott was suffering from multiple injuries after being hit by an unknown vehicle. Scott was life-flighted to Freeman Hospital in Joplin. Please ask anyone with information regarding this case to please come forward. A Southwest City, Missouri man is dead after a crash Friday night in Mays County. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says the crash happened just before midnight on State Highway 20, about 3 miles east of Spavinaw, Oklahoma. 57-year-old Domingo Nenes was driving west when he failed to negotiate a curve, went off the road and hit a tree. He was pronounced dead on the scene. His passenger was life-flighted to St. John Hospital in Tulsa and admitted in stable condition with a head injury. Pittsburgh State University held its annual Wreaths Across America dedication ceremony on Saturday, although the pandemic did alter the way it looked this year. Attendance for the event was condensed down to a small size with mask required. Typically, they see around 50 to 100 people in attendance for this event. ROTC Captain Eric Leon gave a speech, and representatives of each branch of the military hung wreaths at the PSU Veterans Memorial. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
What you got coming up today at noon?
All right, we got lots of fun stuff, including a new Mr. Food recipe for you.
All right, Mr. Irwin, what you got coming up on Fox 14?
Oh man, we're talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about mistletoe sales and how those have fluctuated this year. We're also going to look at watered gardens in Joplin and how they've been able to help some folks go holiday shopping. And then also a 42-point buck was shot over the weekend. We've got that story and more on Fox 14 at 7.
All right, everybody have a great, safe Monday.
To you by Freeman Health. To continuing